So in the React world, there are many ways to style our projects. So we're going to be talking about some different methods. I'm going to show you different ways. So first, we have the inline styling. With React, what we can do is create an object that looks like a CSS and then pass the properties to the actual element. I know, sounds kind of confusing, but I'm going to do it right now. And by the way, I've added a Google font to our project. It's going to be the Anton family. You can choose whatever font you wish. It's up to you. So I'm going to go back to the header and I'm going to create a variable that is going to be an object. And notice that I'm doing it inside the render, okay? So I'm going to say let, and this is of course ES6. I'm going to create a variable. This could be const, doesn't matter. I'm going to say const. So it's going to be equal to styles. And this is styles is going to be an actual object. So right here inside styles, I'm going to add a property for the header and for the logo. Real simple, just an object notation. So it's going to be header, and header is going to have several properties. You're going to have background, just like that. And the background is going to be a color, and it's going to be equal to hashtag then 03A9F4. Good. Now I'm going to add logo. And since it's an object, I'm going to do comma and create the logo one. And logo, of course, is going to have several properties. You're going to have a color. You're going to do something simple. A color of white is going to be white, 1, 2, 3. And then comma. And I need to put the font family. With standard CSS, what you do is font, then style, and then family. But this is not CSS. It's going to be JavaScript. So we need to skip the hyphens and do it all together. Family. Family. Okay. And this one is going to be equal to Anton. Is the font, Google font I just added. So then we're going to do comma, and we're going to add a new property, and I'm going to do text align. And remember, this is JavaScript. We do in camel case, text align. And text align is going to be center, just like that. So now how do we pass this styles to reference to this to the JSX? So what we could do, we can go right here to the header, for example, and we're going to say style equals to something. Since we're going to be passing object data, JavaScript, we cannot use this. We cannot use the double quotes. What we're going to use, it's curly braces. And we're going to make a reference to that object. It's going to be styles. Remember, we have the styles. And then pass the header property. That's the one we want. And if I reload the page, it's working. So I'm going to go to logo and do the same thing. Style equal to an object, and it's going to be styles.logo. And if we go right here, we have the Anton and the logo with the centered text. That's good. It works. So again, imagine that you have tons of styles right here. So, you're going to have a pretty long file. You can do an import, of you could have this inside a different JavaScript and then include the variables right here. You could do that if you wish. I don't really like this method because everything is inline. It's inside the actual elements. And, I like it. So what we could do, let me just delete this. We're not going to need it for now. Oh, sorry. I'm going to leave it so I can copy it. I'm going to remove the header styles and then remove the one in the logo. So what we could do it the old-fashioned way. We can put a link inside the index to a real CSS file. So I'm going to go to public and I'm going to create a new folder that it's going to be, let's create a new file. Let me show you why in a minute. It's going to be styles. I'm going to call it styles.css. So this styles is going to have styles, of course. So first I'm going to add a body to remove the margin, the ugly margin that we get by default with HTML. Okay, so I'm going to say margin 0. Then of course the header, and on the header, if you remember, we have text align, background, sorry. So I'm going to copy it from here. That's why I left it. Background, and the background is going to be the color. I'm going to do text align and then center. What else? We have the logo, so I'm going to create a class with logo, and then the logo is going to be color of white, then comma, font size, and the font size is going to be, 40 pixels. Sounds good. What else? We have the font family. We're going to do font family, and it's going to be Anton. Very good. Now we have the input, so I'm going to add the styles for the input. We're going to be using this later. That's why I'm doing it right now. It's going to be header input, and I'm going to add some font size, something really simple, so we don't waste too much time. Then we're going to have a margin. Let's add a margin of 20 pixels, and then 0 pixels from the side. That's good. That's it. So now how do we include this? You know, we are inside the public folder, so everything you have in public is going to go to the real world. It's going to go to production, let's say. So right here, what I could do, I can just add a reference to that CSS. So we say link href, and then we pass styles.css, just like that. And of course, I'm going to do the rel just to make things right. And then we do style sheet, of course, style sheet. Now, if I reload the application, we are kind of getting it. We're not getting the background. Let me see why. Oh, it's because I forgot to remove this. So, okay, you know, that's good. That's the old-fashioned way. Now, there is a different way, and a lot of developers they like to do this. I don't really like it, but, you know, you could use it. I'm going to delete this. And right here, the logo, we need to add a class. Remember, we add a class right here to logo. So we are not going to use class, but we use class name. And this one is going to be equal to logo. And if we reload it, we get the Anton. That's good. So what you can do, you can import that CSS right here on the JavaScript. And then whenever you the Webpack, it's compiling all the information, it's going to include that JavaScript, that CSS inside the view. So how do we import it? This is real simple. I'm going to say import, just like that, import. The thing is, here comes the problem. You cannot import files from within the public folder. The only files that you can import right here that Webpack is going to let you import are going to be, they need to be inside the source folder. So if I do public, it's not going to let me. So let me just show you. I'm going to say, I'm going to open right here, single quotes, and we are not importing JavaScript. So whenever we import CSS, we do import and then we pass the location of that file. So right here we are inside index. So I'm going to say .. and I'm going to go to .. and go to public folder. And this public is going to bring the styles.css, just like that. We are getting out of the index, entering the public, and bringing CSS. And right here, it's going to say you attempt to import public style CSS, which falls outside the project source directory. So, you know, we cannot do this. We can bypass and just try to modify things, but we are not going to do that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just grab the CSS, just create a new folder inside here that is going to be called CSS. And right here, I'm going to just grab the styles and put it inside the source. Good. So I'm going to go back to header. And instead of doing this, let me just delete it. We're going to say .. We're going to go into CSS / and we're going to bring the styles.css. And if we reload this, it's going to work. That's going to work. Now, what is the downside of this? If you consider this as a downside, of course. Whenever the application loads, the Webpack is going to convert everything, it's going to transpile everything, and it's going to give you that bundle.js. But in addition, you're passing an import. So this information, the CSS, is going to get compiled with the import, with the bundle, and the bundle is going to inject the CSS inside the DOM. So if we take a look right here, we have it inside the header. Everything gets injected right here. So let's say you have, I don't know, 3 different CSS style sheets with a lot of code, a lot of CSS styles. They're going to get injected into the DOM. So again, a lot of developers like this. I don't like it really much. But again, it's just up to you. So we have more things with stylings, but we can do a lot of tricks with styles. But the thing is that these tricks, we need to use these tricks along with some options with classes and with other things that we're going to be using with React. but we are not there yet. So I'm not going to show you right now. We're going to wait until we know what else we can do with classes and with React, and then we're going to bring kind of a styles, sections, advanced, something like that. So let's keep moving forward. On the next section, we're going to be talking about events, and it's going to be really, really interesting.